Okay, we have a couple of options when it comes to locating holes. One of those options is locations. We're going to use the X and Y locations for as many holes as we need to for a particular feature. Now when we talk about the holes block, I want to reiterate something I said earlier, and that is that every feature on the part is one block of the program. If you notice in the review screen, there's one block, holes. And within that block, there are some sub-blocks. We have 3 different operations and then the locations for the block. We have the center drill, the drill, rigid tap, and then locations. All these operations reside in one block. They are not separate blocks. The way we do that is when we create the new block, we're going to build operations. In this instance here, we see block 1 and operations 1 and 2 and so forth. When we create the block for holes, it will ask you what kind of operation is it, and we would select drilling, center drill, and then you would see the screen appear that you see here. We enter the information as necessary. What's the Z start and Z bottom? What tool number are we using? And our speeds and feeds. Once that has been programmed, we then select next hole operation. First, we make sure that the cursor is highlighted on the operation block, or that the next hole operation block or next hole operation soft key is available. If it says next block, then you know that your highlight or your cursor is on the block number of the very upper left-hand corner of the screen. You want to make sure that you're in the operation itself. So we would select next hole operation, and we would program the drill. We would carry this on with the rigid tap, and then finally with the locations. So again, you're going to program the operations that you want to do, center drill, the drill, and the tap, and then you're going to program the locations or the location where these holes are taking place. Now, this print that we're getting ready to look at is the first time that we see part 0 located somewhere other than the bottom left corner of the stock. In all the previous prints that we've done, we didn't have to move the stock in X and Y. We have talked about raising the stock in Z in order to facilitate a face milling operation, but we haven't done anything using X and Y. In this next print, the back left or upper left corner of the print is going to be part 0. So using those X, Y, Z reference positions on the stock geometry page, we're going to move the stock into position. It's important to remember that we cannot move 0. We can only move the stock into position around 0. What I mean by that is using the X and Y reference positions, if I'm going to make the top left or back left corner of the part 0, then I need to move the stock in the negative Y direction. Notice part 0 didn't move, the actual stock geometry moved. And I did that, if you'll look in the right picture there, by putting a negative 1.75 dimension in the Y reference position. That moved the part down the full width of the part in the Y axis, thereby making the back left corner 0. Let's say we wanted to make the very center of this part, both in X and Y, the 0 point. I would move it negative inch and an eighth in the X axis, and then again a negative 875 in the Y axis. You see that the part 0 now is located on the center of the stock. Now remember, stock geometry only affects your graphics. It will not affect the way the machine behaves. And if you do not choose to set up any stock geometry, then the machine will work just fine. This is only for graphical representations. Now here we see print intro 7. This print is going to have just one single drilled hole in the center of this block. There's 3 tools, a center drill, a drill, and a tap. And as we've talked about in the past, you've got the bulleted points on the side explaining how to start your program and what the speeds and feeds for that particular program should be. So go ahead and give intro 7 a try. And as always, there is a separate video, step-by-step programming help for this particular print if it is necessary.